heroes, or we're gonna start with drag
these nuts across your face.
Drag these nuts across your face.
How do I sound?
Sound terrible.
Terrible? But
I
that's
sound
just
crisp and smooth. Mamma
how's
mia.
my
Papa Pia.
volume, though?
Oh yeah, your volume good.
Volume is good.
I could turn you up, but let's not risk it.
Let's not risk it.
Let's not risk. Oh, yep. Yeah, we won't risk it.
Yeah, because I got my ass warmed up. Andy in the future, hit the music.
That was good. I like that one. You know what? That's like a...
Knowing me,
like
I'm not going to hit the music there.
You should hit the...
Knowing me and how much of a fucking rascal I am.
Yeah.
You've known me.
I always want you to do it like to where it sounds like I'm about to say like something super duper racist, like...
That's my favorite thing whenever you hear stuff edited where there's like the beep beep. Every single time I hear that, I picture them saying the N-word every time.
Can I tell you right now, one of my favorite late night bits I guess you call it current era, like the Jimmy era, Jimmy Kimmel. There's a
plethora of Jimmys.
There's a what's it? I couldn't think of a cooler word. A horde of Jimmy, scaling the late night whole landscape. But I'm wondering what that sound is too.
This?
Oh, is that what that is? Okay, I was like, I didn't know that was a fidget spinner too. But
this is an adult binky.
There's a what did you call it earlier? Geek bar.
Geek bar.
Oh, that's really what it's called.
Oh, yeah. I'm not just like shitting on myself, calling myself a geek.
I thought it was like a cool steampunk way of talking about vapes.
No, I was just saying they charge fucking $30 for these in some gas stations. It's psychotic.
That's insane. Damn it. What was I fucking talking about?
Era of the Jimmies?
Oh, Era of the Jimmies is the moments in unnecessary censorship. It's a bit that they do on their late night show, and I think it is one of the funniest late night bits I think ever.
Yeah.
They just take news clips or like clips from like political press conferences, like weird dramas, like any bullshit movies, anything like that, and then they just bleep in just random spots to make it sound like crazy.
Yeah.
And I've
seen those. Those are pretty good.
It's like one of those things where you're like, damn, that's a great fucking like kind of all the time bit. You can do that all the time. And then he just started to scream at Trump all the time.
He's like, oh, I have to go cry on TV.
And it's just like,
one bit Jimmy Kimmel did that always drove me nuts is he would be like, so, you know, because they had like an older audience, so they would lean into like, we're gonna mess with these stupid stoners.
Oh yeah, when they go on,
they would go to like a festival, and they would be like, so we asked these kids, are you excited to see A, B, and C band? But actually, none of those bands exist.
They're even real bands, these fucking posers.
And then you'd watch the video, and you'd realize, like, the way the people were responding, I go, oh, all the questions they're being asked are dubbed over in post. I was like, this is completely fake.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was like the way people were...
What about jaywalking?
The way people were reacting, I go like, no, you asked them real band names, and then... in post, because you never saw the interviewer, and the sound never properly lined up. His face is really funny.
Damn, I wish he was doing that on this table right here.
That's funny.
God
he chose
damn.
the fucking shout out Stanry.
Yeah, he's trying to get as much vitamin D as he can. That means from the sun, guys. Don't be gross. It's my cat. But yeah, I didn't realize that that sucks. So wait, would they do that with remember the one with Nate Diaz? You ever seen that one? I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, they were asking about the rematch with him and Conor McGregor. What's going to happen? He's like, Conor's going to knock him out. Nate Diaz, he got lucky the first time. Blah blah blah, all this other stuff. And then Nate Diaz comes out of the like behind the guy and like walks up behind him. He's like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, oh hey pal. Like,
I mean, was he physically in the room there?
Like, no, the guy was on the sidewalk. Like they were doing that man on the street thing. But like it almost felt like,
oh yeah,
maybe off camera they were like, hey, just talk about how Conor's gonna knock him out.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, have you heard the type of like pre-interviews that those shows do? I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait, for guests?
Yeah, when they have guests on, it's
Yeah.
like it's not just like, oh, what are some things we want to touch on?
They're like,
It's
tell me
like-
the story that you're going to tell me exactly.
Yeah, it's
how
like,
you're gonna...
no, I will ask you this question,
Yeah.
then I will ask you this question, and then I will.
This is water, by the way. It's late night with Andy and Pat. It's 1.
It's 2 p.m. 'cause
That's 2. We were gabbing.
you and me sometimes have real friendship before these.
Yeah, we had
podcasts.
a little bit of friendship before that.
We do a little bit of friendship, but no, I know everything on those late night shows are like crazy contrived and like pre-planned. So I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, "All right, Nate Diaz is gonna come out and fucking put his hand up your ass." So act surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like, it was fun. It was cute. It was actually kind of one of those things that it does make sense that it was produced. No offense to Nate Diaz, but like off the cuff. It's like a thing where like,
Yeah, I don't know if I was the director of the show, I'd trust Nate Diaz hitting a good improv.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like with him to come out and just be like, he was kind of like doing this. And like, I was like, it was perfect, like intimidating Nate Diaz kind of thing of like, yo, blah, blah, blah. Like, but like, I've also seen him where YouTubers were talking shit and he like slaps them. And you're like, all right, man, come on. Come on. Like, why, what's the thing here? Is it the reach of the YouTuber? Like, is he so much above production wise that he's ahead thinking like, oh, I want to help this YouTuber out, so I'm going to slap him. Do you know what I mean? Like
I mean, that
he
might
gets
be-
the game, or is it just Nate Diaz like, you said mean thing, boosh.
I mean, you know more about Nate Diaz than I do, but from what I've gathered, I think it's Nate Diaz literally just being like, you don't know you're talking to me like that, man.
Yeah. So like it literally, like production wise for Jimmy Kimmel, that's crazy for him to come out and just be like, they trusted that he's not just gonna go whop to the guy. You know what I mean? Like, just slap him from behind or buck. What was the guy?
Oh, dude, Jimmy
what was the
Kimmel's
guy that-
production team's just freaking out, going, "No, Nate, not for real."
No, he's just joking.
They just start,
we produced this with him.
they just start spazzing out like when a fucking chimpanzee goes nuts.
no.
Get
Get the tasers. Get the-
Nate Diaz can smell your fear. No.
Play dead. But the what's the?
Then they just throw like a couple pre-rolls in Nate's
Yeah.
mission. He's like, "Oh, me."
Yeah, it just kind of distracts them. Well, what was the fuck? I was trying to think. What was the wrestler that fucking boxed the dude's ears? Remember when he was saying like, "It's all fake, right?" Blah, blah,
Oh
blah.
yeah, and I
Wild
like that.
Bill
I
or-
like no fuck. I was thinking CIA. I was gonna say Wild Bill Donovan, which sounds like a wrestler's name, but that was actually the dude who ran the CIA before the CIA. No, I remember that. I remember the fucking video because
Yeah.
I actually like the reporter John Stossel. He does really good reporting, and I've listened to him on shows. That was a moment where I was like, I don't know. As a wrestling fan, maybe it's like it was probably different back in the day, but even when you look back in the day, it's like, guys, to be honest, it's crazy you even considered this to be real.
Yeah.
But
like the fact that you had a real life assault on a dude because you're like, oh, it's real to me, damn it. You know,
Well,
like
'cause
essentially that's the same feeling. That's what it boils down to is like for the fans, they're like, thank you for not breaking the fourth wall, except for sometimes when you do break the fourth wall and it's like cool, like a wink, but it's like feels like it's just for
thank
me.
you for doing it occasionally.
You know what I mean? Like
so like the smart marks like us know what you're doing, but like, and we get to feel better because then like the other people who don't know what you're doing, they don't know what's going on.
It took the wrestling industry fucking what, like 50 years before they realized things are subjective. Like some people enjoy it more than others and like play it up for them, but like other times when the guy's like, this is fake, right? And he's just like,
you know what always made
that's
me-
fake to you, brother. Like you're like, wow. Like now he's just gonna be
Well-
like, whoa, all those flips and like the fucking guy that came out in the turban and beat up the guy with the American flag.
There is, in wrestlers' defense, there was for a while, people were like, oh yeah, but I even thought this when I was younger, but people for a while thought like, oh, you fall a certain type of way so it doesn't hurt at all. Like there's a famous clip of Rowdy Roddy Piper and a couple other wrestlers. They were on whatever show Bill Maher had back in the day, and Bill Maher was being like a fucking dickhead about it.
Yeah, real
And he
douche
was
with
just
Bill
like,
Maher.
What?
Real douche with Bill Maher.
Yeah, fucking smarmy cunt with Bill Maher. Dude, sorry, I could go on a Bill Maher tear.
There's so many things
a
I could've-
year or two ago, I saw a clip of him, and he was like on his podcast, Club Random, which is the coolest name for a 60-year-old's podcast. Bill
It's, like,
Maher,
totally
someone was
random,
like
though.
MK Ultra, and Bill Maher's like, what's MK?
MK what now?
I go, well, you can't be a fucking cunt if you've made it to 65 and you're a political correspondent and you don't know what fucking MK Ultra is.
Right.
Fuck yourself, dude. Anyway, if you want me on, though, I'll be there in a second.
I won't.
But no, like, Bill Maher's talking, like, mad shit to, like, Rowdy Piper and all those other guys. And, like, dude, Rowdy Piper's hitting him with, he's just like, it was literally like Joe Dirt, where he's like, this queer.
Yeah.
And he's like, is this fake? And he's like banging on his fucking metal hip. He's like, is this fake? Are all my dead friends fake? It's like, but that was like a misconception for the longest time, where they're like, oh, it doesn't, like, you don't actually get hurt.
No,
and
they're superhero stuntmen.
That's where wrestlers get really fucking pissed, because they're like, my body is falling apart. You're not gonna call this fake. But he probably shouldn't have popped Stossel in the ear.
So
like
when you're like, hey, when he goes like, it's fake, just be like, hey man, a lot of us get really hurt out there, and like, it may be, you guys maybe think
hit him with the Poirier. Yeah. You can't say that.
Yeah, you can't say that. What if it's even just like, hey, a lot of people, I understand people think it's predetermined and everything like that, but like, no matter what is determined or not, like, we're still falling out there. Like, thing you see us out, like, yeah, we may know a way to help break our fall, but like, we're still falling.
Yeah.
Like, and also sometimes we don't land perfectly. Like, that's the thing. It's like, we are professionals, but like, we can't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's a way to fall to do the least amount of damage.
But that's not kayfabe.
There's a way
that's pretty kayfabe. I think that was kayfabe.
What
I just did. I was like, I didn't say whether it was predetermined or not. I said people may think it's predetermined, but whether what's determined or not, it is still real.
That is, for the most part, kayfabe.
Yes. I'm doing it. I'm kayfabing. That's the work, brother.
Yeah, the shit I do out here in kayfabe for a minute.
Kayfabing.
No, the thing is, it's like, there's ways to do everything to cause the least amount of pain.
Yeah.
But you're never having zero pain happen.
I knew that. I learned that when I learned judo. I went to my first judo class, which was technically my first jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah.
And then any other time that I worked with somebody that was working on like a certain takedown or something like that, is, yes, there is a proper way to fall down.
Can I make an anti-Semitic joke real quick?
Go on now.
That's what I call the money you get for rent.
Judo.
That turns into judo.
Yeah. You gotta get that judo. Hey, yeah. So like, there is a way to fall down.
Yeah. Flat back.
Properly.
Have you ever done a flat back?
Yeah, boom. You do one of these. Well, also there's break falls.
Yeah.
So like, if you can get your hands to land at the same time as your button back, you can land flat.
But dude, that's like the funniest shit. Like, when we were at the Creek last night, watching someone, because Lemaire had wrestling on the TV, and McCusker comes in, and he's like, so how much padding is there? Watching people.
All of us were like.
Watching people. Well, because you guys, there wasn't a point to like get fucking autistic about it, but like, you guys were saying plywood.
Somebody said 2x4s.
That's what it is, though.
But there's a sheet of plywood.
So they take a bunch. The first
it's
layer,
like a bed frame.
The first layer is a bunch of 2x4s side by side.
Yeah.
And then I think they'll put plywood over
I think
it.
there is a little bit of a spring. There's like a little bit of bounce.
There's a huge spring.
And then there is the
Have you
plywood.
been to an indie show?
No. Well, yeah, no. I have.
If you go to an indie show, you see the shit move. There's a big spring.
Yeah,
but it's all rough and tough.
But like the actual like plane is not so padded, because we all explained like it would be like walking through
cover.
mush. Yeah.
The amount of padding they have, and that's a fun one to watch people go like, wait, there's no padding like at all.
That's so funny that he didn't realize. I mean, I guess he wouldn't have thought of it.
Yeah,
but
you don't think of it when you don't watch wrestling.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And even when you watch wrestling,
I'm actually surprised more guys don't go through it more. You know how you see that where they actually have to build it into the thing where like they go through the ring?
Oh yeah. There was a big moment where they were doing that with Undertaker.
Yeah.
When one of my favorite call outs where he slammed the dude through the ring, and JR's like, he sent him straight to hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when he went actually through.
Yeah, he went through the ring, but like the way you have to do that, it was funny too, because they wouldn't reveal completely how they did it, the thing I was listening to.
Yeah.
But they were like, the way you have to do that properly, at least back then, it's like, it's so dangerous.
It's like the same people that would go, and I mean this, and I don't mean this as a demeaning thing to wrestling fans or anything like that, but it's like saying to like people that are at a magic show, like, this is not real, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, like we like watching the sleight of hand. Shut the fuck up.
What's the same thing
like,
with...
it's just storytelling with sleight of hand.
It's the
That's
same thing
literally
with-
what it is.
It's the same thing with comedy. It's like, no, I want to see a guy who's really good at this, so it sounds like this is him just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
And I want to see a guy who's so good at magic that I forget that I'm watching a guy trick me who
You're
just...
like, how the fuck did that guy do that?
I will say this though, I've been getting more into magic, and I got no time for. You ever see like them reveal how a trick is done, and then you're like, so I bought this device from a trick store, and then I use it, and you're like, I don't like those ones.
There is, but that I noticed when I was taking these classes and stuff like that, that when, like, even if there is a right way to fall, like, you can fall wrong. And it can hurt a lot more. And even falling right kind of still hurts, like if you don't do it perfectly. And no matter how versed you are in it, it just means, first of all, you've done that many reps.
Dude.
And how many times did you land too far up? How many times did you too far down? Either way, you're hurting a bone. You're hurting your neck bones or your fucking tailbones.
And then, dude, running the ropes really hurts.
Yeah, like just like that stuff. It's like all like callus, like that you build up over time.
I ran the ropes for a very tiny bit one time. And then I go home, and Steph was like, why do you have bruises on the back of your arms? And I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, just from running the ropes. Dude, I almost fucked my arm up one time doing it. Because my buddy Keikoa was doing he had a wrestling company in the Poconos for a little bit. And I was like an announcer, which was very fun. I would love to somehow do that again because it was some of the most fun ever. But I was doing the announcing, and then they were doing basically like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And he thought as like a funny entry, like I was the funny entry.
Yeah.
So they were like, wait, who's number 25? And then I just stand up from the announce table, go in, do like a little hot dog thing, and then someone just flips me over immediately.
Yeah.
And dude, you can so quickly, something bad can happen where I got flipped over and I was like, I kind of spazzed when I fell and I put my arm down.
Careful.
What?
Yeah, no, you got to be
I put
careful
my
with
arm
that.
down and I was fine the next day, but for the rest of that night, there was a little tweak in my arm the way I landed.
You could have compound fractured the fuck out of that.
Yeah. So
Yikes.
it's actually fucking nuts how easily you can hurt yourself.
Yeah. I showed Dom, or I was watching the Nick Gage Dark Side of the Ring. And Tom was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like the whole time, like first of all, the deathmatch thing, which is a thing I don't give a fuck at all.
Not a big fan
I
of them.
will not ever say like fuck them, it's bullshit, blah blah blah. It is
no, they're warriors.
It is they're crazy. They're crazy
theatrical
people.
warriors.
Yeah, they are very dedicated performers.
Yeah.
But like as far as like and that's what it is just literally they're people that are willing to get cut up.
Yeah,
and blown
up. And I will say the deathmatch guys,
crazy.
People,
gross.
People don't give them enough credit because they are. I've watched a bunch of interviews with them. It's not my preferred style, but they are just as passionate as any other wrestler.
What's his face? Like, there's people. There's I think Kenny Omega has this like weird perverted thing with it. John Moxley.
Wait, Omega?
I'm pretty sure. What didn't he do? He like had one. Or maybe that was.
I think
wasn't that him against?
Yeah,
like where he had that thing stuck in his head.
Yeah, Moxley's
They like
the
those
one,
spots. They want those things, and they're real.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Moxley had.
But they're also like.
Moxley had one spot where I forget. It was like a blunt. It was like a fucking.
Like a club?
Like a club thing, yeah, with a bunch
spikes
of
in it, yeah.
like with a bunch of giant nails sticking out of it.
Yeah.
He lands on it and he like stands up and like the thing's stuck in his back.
That's what I'm thinking.
And then
of,
it
yeah.
like would not come out smoothly whatsoever.
Yeah.
And dude, like I remember seeing on Twitter the next day, the vast majority of the reaction on Twitter was like, yo, Moxley's got to stop doing that.
Yeah, it's
but like Moxley loves shit like that. So it's like, it's not even something the fans are begging him to do.
No, it's a preference. It's like literally his preference. He loves that and he wants that legacy.
He wants to be a fucking psychopath.
And
yeah.
it's a thing where I thought Kenny Omega was more of like the Japanese shit. I was like, but it was like a thing where
he's done death matches, but it's not like his thing.
But that's just weird. It's like weird. It's weird that and that's what I'm saying is like that they want to have that experience. It feels like, again, all due respect to wrestlers, kind of like a porn star. Like, well, I got to do one gangbang. Like I got to do one blah blah blah. It's like Okay, yeah. And if that's a thing that they're already comfortable blading, or if they're comfortable, let me just feel like what it's like. But the one where David Arquette was fighting him, and you're like, it's like what? And then the guy gets mad, and then, dude, if anybody gets mad in a fucking death match, they become New Jack immediately. They become immediate stabbers. They just go like, oh, yeah.
That's my
like, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck?
My favorite part.
It's a very thin line between death match and like prison.
My favorite part about the death matches is when people
all due respect to New Jack. Rest in peace.
He's even dead. He's scary.
I'm terrified of him.
Wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, the thing that always makes me laugh about death matches is you'll constantly see those clips where you're like, oh, that guy's bleeding too much. You didn't want that to happen, and then the reaction is like, there's always this big over-the-top discussion about like, oh, he zigged where he should have zagged, and that's why the thing cut it. And I'm like, here's
what went wrong.
And you're like,
I saw it.
You're like, no, you should expect that to happen. They act like, can you believe that when Tony fell on the plywood with 17 butcher knives, he started bleeding profusely?
Well, yeah, they're like, what was how old was Sabu when he died? Like 60 something.
Abu? You mean when the Legion of Skanks killed him?
Yeah. Yeah. How old was he a week before?
I think he was mid 60s actually.
So like he had a death match right before that.
Yeah.
And the thing where like, oh, he's like, oh, here's where it went wrong, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, I fell out of the ring and I hit my head, and like, and you're like, no, it was from this when you agreed to it.
You're like, the odds that something bad would have happened is through the roof.
It's. Yeah, the part that went bad,
they
it
act
was
like
like
they're shocked that something crazy happened.
Yeah, he's like, oh, when I went nuts, but I had to get to this spot, and I had to, and it's just like, brother, what, you wanted to die in the ring? Yeah. Like that. Literally, if Legion of Skanks was not a comedy podcast, I would definitely have been like, hey man, like, did you be honest? Did you want to die in the ring? Like, because it kind of like you are in your 60s. He was retired already, right? Technically,
he was kind of.
All due respect to Sabu. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I really like Sabu a lot. I'm not.
No, it's not disrespectful to Sabu. Like, well, no, it was funny. One of his last matches, they were like, it was just a weird burp. No, it's the fact that they you don't burp, they just fall out of you. That's
you saw that one. I couldn't help that.
You're like, anyway, so
okay.
I'm sorry, I dropped that.
Anyway.
My apologies.
Oh, go. Hold on.
No, the funny thing about Sabu, and this is a thing wrestling fans do. Whenever wrestling fans love to take away any agency there is for wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like they'll have these things where wrestlers will die from a drug overdose, and then they'll be like, way to go, WWE, and you're like, yep. When they did prescription medication for 30 years after leaving the WWE, it was on them because, they got hurt while wrestling. And you're like, I don't know, and then Sabu was doing I forget the specifics. I don't want to talk ill of the dead. Sabu's a legend. But, and I'm not, because also you're an ECW dude. If you weren't doing drugs still, I'd be like, the fuck's going on, Sabu?
If you weren't doing drugs the whole time.
But he, there was apparently... He wrestled a match on some prescription painkillers or whatever, and it's like, I mean, look at Sabu. He needs them to get through the day.
Yeah, bro.
But then they'll be like, there's a company called GCW out of Jersey they were mad at. They're like, how could you do that? You're like, Sabu was high.
Yeah.
He took his drugs.
Yeah.
And you're mad at me?
It's like if they facilitated them for the art for the people, bad. That's one thing. But it's all but still, it's like, I don't know. They asked for them. I don't know.
Well, there's this weird thing where
it's like a mom. It's like saying I'd rather get drugs for you than have you just go out there and find your own drugs.
It's this weird thing that people do. I see it because I've talked about it before. My guilty pleasure are the podcast breakdown videos.
Yeah,
they're like, did you hear Shane Gillis was fighting with Andrew Schultz? It's my guilty pleasure, and I love watching the ones where they're like, the walls are closing in on Bert Kreischer, and they'll be like, so Bert was on a podcast and he's laughing really high pitched, he's drinking too much, and he's talking over people. Can you believe this? And you're like, do you know who Bert is?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah. And it's like, that's the fun thing. That was the fun thing about Bert forever. And now he's famous. And like, could you believe he does these things that we loved him for?
He interrupted Taylor Swift when she was talking. And it's like, yeah,
Tom Segura was talking about his 19th car.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, whoa.
Bert Kreischer interrupted him.
Yeah, they fucking turned a whole career into that. Like, that's the whole podcast.
Yeah, that's the thing that irks me. And we should talk about music in a second. But that's the thing that irks me about the people who critique comedians and stuff.
Yeah.
Is they'll be like, can you believe this guy's a big fucking mess of a human? You're like, that's what you love us for, though.
But this is the fun thing is it's a chosen, like, it's so funny. I was talking to Metzger about it at the show last night about the Mandela effect of like, because he said something about, like, he asked me about this religious thing. Have I ever heard of the red heifer or something like that, or red cow? Or,
Oh yeah, it's Jewish stuff.
And that's the thing. He's like, have you ever heard of that? And I was like, I've never heard of that until just now. And I was like, he's like, it's not the fact that I didn't know about it. He's like, it's the fact that I've never heard about it.
Yeah.
Ever. And I've heard a lot about a lot of religions.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's the same thing. And I was like, well,
he used to be
Jehovah's Witness, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
he's like,
I was like, bro,
he's locked in on. He's like, you trying to get married to me?
I go, hey, let me see that dude.
So I started dating Kurt Metzger.
I said, do you want to hang out and not have sex for 2 years? Just kind of talk and hide it from your parents? And he's like, ooh, you know the way.
I think that'd be a good idea, Pat.
And I said something about the Mandela effect. He's like, the Mandela effect, yeah. And like, it's not surprising that he has a very similar take on it, that I was like, of basically just people being wrong. It's just it's
not knowing pointless info.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, so he's like, I don't know if this is it could be, but essentially in the sense that Mandela effect is like, who the fuck cares? Like, also, you're just lying about it.
Did you know there's this crazy effect that happens when you don't remember information that's not crucial to your life?
You don't remember information that you never learned?
Did you know there's this weird cosmic reaction when you forget the Fruit of the Loom logo? Mm-hmm. That's a weird fucking otherworld event.
But I think it's funny, and it's also very, speaking of like when it's convenient for people in general, like, just this goes for wrestling, this goes for everything we're talking about, is like, where like when it's when the WWE is the name in town, everybody's like, yeah, but you did it so fucking crazy and you're a piece of shit, and like, I would never want to work for them because of what they did to all those other companies and blah blah blah. And then when something goes wrong, they're like, thanks a lot, guys, it's all your fault. Like, but it's also like, well, I mean, are they the number one standard in wrestling, or are they bullshit?
Yeah, they're like, dude, this company doesn't treat any wrestlers. Anyway, I'm gonna watch the third WWE show of the week.
Yeah. I just wanted to put a nice little knot on that, but let's talk.
No, I hear you. Wrestling fans are retarded people.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
I that is something from the years of being friends with wrestling fans, being a wrestling fan myself, also just in general, like, producing wrestling podcasts for years and years.
Yeah.
That was a thing where, like, I found out the worst part of wrestling is the fans. They're the absolute, like, they're never happy. It's never, they're never content. And then even what they are, there's still going to be a contingency of people. And it's just like, literally, kayfabe in general is just literally just going like, some people really like it. Some people get it. Some people are fooled by it. You just can't let it be a thing. It has to be real to you, damn it, until a point where they're like, well, I mean, I'm going to have a Twitter account.
Dude, you forgot you made me remember my point about kayfabe that always irritates me, because, like, all the people who got mad over the years of, like, wrestlers breaking kayfabe, I go, I mean, did you guys forget why kayfabe developed? I read a book that was like a history of wrestling, and literally it started out as real fights, and then they're like, we could make more money on these if we could rig them. And then make them more interesting. And it's like, yeah, no, kayfabe got developed because you guys just started lying to people. So, like, fuck off with this whole, like, you can't let people know we're lying to them. How could we make more money and then not pay the wrestlers? What?
I got an idea. Sorry. I had to keep my mouth open and get all the ideas trapped in there.
You're sucking it in like Kirby?
Like Kirby, yeah. You ready? Because this is a great topic I think we can cover.
For?
No More Heroes. It's a different podcast. It's a different podcast.
I hear it's really good, though.
But, yeah, if you're watching this and you're not watching that, that's weird.
If you're a Mormon Fall Out Boy fan, this is a great week for you.
But there's a... we could talk about how... Did you know that mixed martial arts actually stemmed from those wrestling fights?
No, but that would be really fun to get into.
Came from... we can do, coming out of Religion month. Religion month? Which one did we...
It's been about a religion month and a half.
Yeah, so coming out of that, we can go into MMA month.
MMA.
month. MMA. It's if you want to talk about MMA for a month, we can. We can talk about fighters, organizations.
That'll make my research for the next month way easier.
It'll make my research a lot easier because I'm already doing it. It'll be like 4 Jehovah's Witness weeks in a row, so it'll be fun. Anybody, we can talk about Mark Kerr and the Smashing Machine with the new movie coming out with The Rock, also the documentary. We could talk about how MMA started, right? We can actually go into like how it came from wrestling into
we could talk about how John McCain didn't want it to be successful.
That piece of shit senator that with all due respect to John McCain, he's a piece of shit. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, so rest in peace, piece of shit.
Dude,
rest in peace of shit.
That's the worst.
He kept my favorite sport from happening, so it makes me sad. But we're not here to talk about that, Andy. What are we here to talk about?
I've often said the direct opposite of John McCain musically is pre-2010 Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. That's honestly how this came up. That's what we were talking about
the whole time.
That's
what we were talking about.
And when we...
I go, you know who wouldn't get captured by the Viet Minh?
The Viet Minh?
Pete Wentz.
Viet Minh?
Viet Minh. And if he did...
They look at his penis and they go, wait a minute, he's one of us.
What the hell? What the hell are you even? What the hell if it is that?
That's just a little... Have
you seen that clip?
Uh-uh.
Oh, there's one of the funniest clips. There's like a light-skinned black dude with like straight hair, and this guy's yelling. It's from a sketch, but this like old white Clint Eastwood-looking man is like yelling at him, and the guy...
Oh, yeah.
And the black dude's just like, Daddy, chill. Yeah. And the guy goes, what the hell even is that?
Yeah, I've seen that. I know you're talking.
So fucking funny.
Yes.
But yeah, I wanted to pick this because this is probably in my top 10.
Okay.
And I had recently, the week before, I was listening to a bunch of old school emo music. And we'll go through this because there's a lot that emo music gets criticized for, and they've absolutely deserve it. But also, too, one thing in my heart of hearts that I truly believe that emo music does not get enough credit for, and we'll go through it on this Fall Out Boy album, they do not get enough credit for the top tier musicality in a lot of the music, because a lot of the, over melodramatic lyrics, the way that they dress, all the other extra shit overshadowed that for a lot of people. But because that was a funny thing when we were talking about Brand New and Taking Back Sunday. Remember, I had that fucking identity crisis because I realized it was like, dude, I was like getting more into the lyrics, and I'm like realizing the experience and all this stuff that was like going through these albums, and just realizing that I better be a good fucking picture, and then realizing that like how seriously I took some of the like lyrics and personalities and stuff, and it definitely like gave me this sort of perception of like, oh, I took this aspect of it way too seriously, and it really affected my life negatively. But it still but at the same time, like, I kind of roll my eyes at some of the lyrics and a lot of emo music the same way as like when I dip my toe into like Midwest emo that's like popular now, and you're just like, yeah, dude, I'm just listening to people in their 20s like fucking bitching about shit. So it's like now as an adult I can roll my eyes about some stuff like that, but it's like the thing that always keeps me coming back, and this is the hill I'm prepared to die on, is like the music itself is actually pretty top notch. And I want to give Fall Out Boy credit where this was probably, in my opinion, one of the like one of the more like thought out and intricate and just like musically heavy. I don't know. What am I trying to say? Just a much more like thought out album than a lot of the like emo shit's going on. But we have a lot to talk about. I am very curious because this is also too is a very high stress week because when I brought up the album,
Oh yeah.
I did not get a lot of positive energy from
Pat.
Sold it. You sold. No, you went. I remember it like it was yesterday.
I groaned.
You went.
It was kind of yesterday.
Well, yeah. That's the other thing. I'm doing shows all weekend with Robbie, so we're recording Robbie Bernstein.
Oh, Robbie Bernstein.
Well, so we're recording 2 days ahead of schedule, and that means there's 3 articles I meant to read that I didn't.
I did a surprising amount of I was able to get quite a bit done just in general in my car, and just overall this morning I woke up a little bit earlier, did a little bit extra research.
Can I say this to compliment us?
What up?
I read a couple articles. I listened to some podcasts. Let's be honest. All of us, we're just checking the Wikipedia.
Well,
because a lot of the articles I was reading, I go, that's just directly from the Wikipedia. Like the fun facts they were throwing out, I was like, that's just directly from the Wikipedia. So what you get with Drag the Lake is just the better analysis.
Well, yeah, all the stuff we're talking about is Googleable. You know what I mean? Like if you put in, if you were to just search any of the topics, Secrets of the Vatican, if you're talking about fucking Metallica, Saint Anger, whatever, any of these things, like if you were just to put in those into the search bar, you're gonna get the same thing we did. But like what we're doing is we're kind of trying to condense the facts. Here's the biggest things that stood out to us. It's the point of view, baby, and that's what the beauty is. And also, I love that if this is somebody's favorite album, like either. To be honest, maybe I turn them, or maybe you convince them that you're right and it should be in your top 5.
Wait, who'd you turn?
I'm just saying I could turn. Like if I from my point of view, I could share like, hey, actually this, or this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because this was a thing where this was what I was talking about with the reason I groaned when you brought it up was the fact that aside from the hits. Do you know what I mean? I never gave Fall Out Boy much of a thing just because from the hits of being like, these aren't bad songs.
Yeah.
Just not for me. It's kind of like how I felt about Coheed and Cambria.
Okay.
It's a thing where, and with all due respect to wrestlers,
not Coheed fans.
Not Coheed fans or Fall Out Boy fans, was the fact that they're, if they didn't exist, I have no problem with them existing. I'm not going to rage against them existing. But
Coheed?
Yeah, or Fall Out Boy. But if they never existed, it wouldn't change my life at all. Do you know what I mean? I think the hits are good. I'll bop my head along with them. But if I never heard, so I don't want to make it's not like I'm making a case against them. I think they're as far as the bands of the era that are similar to this in genre and and I'll explain. I think I have a weird question to start out with, but do you like Panic at the Disco?
So yeah, but I don't spend. They're not like a band I will like. This album I've been bringing up. It happened at the Creek last night.
Under the Cork Tree.
Yeah, you saw people. I was bringing up Fall Out Boy, and people were looking at me like, "Why is Andy talking about?" I'll die on this hill.
Yeah,
Panic at the Disco. I like some of their songs, but I was never they always seemed like a band for girls at the time. Mm-hmm. And then over time I realized I was like, oh, they're just a good band. But I don't have a strong emotional fight for liking Panic at the Disco.
Because I kind of feel like they're somebody and you keep calling them emo bands. And I don't know if I would this feels like a different little subgenre.
So that's a good conversation to have too, because I
have a list of bands that I think should be included in it, but sorry.
No, say it.
No, I'll say I think these and these are also bands I think you should check out. Also, because again, it's not that I'm going to sit here. I think it's a wonderfully produced album for their second studio album ever.
Yeah,
this is an incredible album.
And did you listen to the 2 before that?
No, there's two. Wait, two.
Well, okay, so
Hold on a second.
there's when we were
fucked with the
talking
wiki?
when we were talking about it last week, I was legitimately shocked because their first, well, you could even say it's not their first album, but it is the first grouping of songs that they recorded and was released as an album. But I don't know the specifics of it, but it actually got released against their will.
Oh.
So, like, the record label they were working with, who I'm assuming, like, paid for it, for whatever reason, they were like, well, we need to recoup. I don't think they liked it.
Yeah.
Because the lyrically, the whole album was about, like, a very, like one girl. And then I think when they were done with it, they were like, oh, this is actually crazy embarrassing.
Yeah.
But then the label, I think, was like, well, we need to make our money back, so fuck you guys. We're putting the album out. So that's why it's crazy it's on Spotify, because for the longest time, they just acted like it never existed. And then Take This to Your Grave was their official first album.
Okay.
Which was funny, too, because they were like, someone at Island Records, that was the record label they were on for Under the Cork Tree. Someone at Island Records must have saw something big with them.
Yeah.
Because Fueled by Ramen is, whatever the term is, a subsidiary, but they're a sub-label. A lot of labels do this. We talked about it with Tim Armstrong, where you have the big label Epitaph, and then what's the one he had? Hellcat.
Hellcat, yeah.
Hellcat's like a part of Epitaph, but it's an offshoot. Fueled by Ramen was an offshoot of Island Records.
Yeah.
But Island Records actually completely paid for Take This to Your Grave.
Huh.
So, but then the other reason I was bringing up those albums is when you hear Evening Out with Your Girlfriend, you're like, this has a lot of potential. I will not be listening to this for a second time, though.
Yeah.
And then when you hear Take This to Your Grave, it's very of the time. It's very very good. But even then, you're like, they got more.
Yeah.
And then I think, like, from Under the Cork Tree, it's like that progression to what then Under the Cork Tree becomes with, like, the intricate writing and the, like, well-produced nature of it is, it's like Fall Out Boy, for me, all of Fall Out Boy's other albums is what helps this album be better to me.
Yeah, I think they have this. I think they have a real ability of, like, it's really well produced album, like music, like the composition and the recording and everything like that. But it's also like that's like a very much of this era, like you were saying, like kind of thing. And again, much like Coheed, but they have this like weird. Fall Out Boy, Coheed, all these bands, like, again, the ones that are on like the hits, the singles of the albums and stuff like that, I think are great. But when like the deep cuts come on, like if people told me Fall Out Boy is my favorite band, this did change my view a little bit of this. Before doing this research, I probably would have been like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, really? Like kind of the same thing but I'm also like, no, it's literally just your preference in, I think, a spectrum of music that needs to be like, to be better pinpointed, because you can't just simplify it with emo. There's so much, like, it really is great musicianship.
Yeah.
It is like the songwriting is like the pop, the hits, I'll tell you what, the hits hold up. The hits are Dance Dance,
Little Less 16 Candles.
Little Less 16 Candles.
A Little More Touch Me.
And then there was
Sugar We're Going Down.
That one, yeah. The chicka like, it's like the production, everything is so well. It's not as simple as just being fucking emo. It is emo maybe in nature, like in heart, but like there's like, it's thought out, like clean.
That's a very important distinction where you said emo. I'm going to write that down, by the way.
Yeah.
Emo in nature.
Yeah.
Because that's what I realized about emo music. Emo music is, when something's emo, it's more of the vibe than it is just flat out the music. Because I think the simplest way to describe emo music, there's two versions of it. It's because there's some emo music. It was the kind of stuff I never got into that was much more indie rock oriented. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of it, the stuff I really like, that was clearly an offshoot of punk rock.
Yes.
And the simplest way to describe emo is like punk music with a substantially more focus on like emotional lyrics and
more melody,
melancholy
than
and
speed.
things like that.
Yeah, more melody than speed. Like
Yeah.
you're more of the feeling of like you have the edge.
Yeah.
You have the distortion. You have the same tone as those guys, and like some of the deep cuts on it. Yeah, maybe you do
Did
fucking
you write
speed.
that thing down, by the way?
I put emo in nature. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good. Because I was watching you do it, so I stopped.
But there's that same idea where like this is, and that's what I'm saying with like Cody and Cambria, where they're way better than they need to be, and
Yeah.
it's like and there's another band lesser known that I've brought up probably in the past that I think kind of falls into the same category called the Fully Down. They only have one release, but like again, there's like this thing where it's like this musicianship of this like maybe even Protest the Hero is somewhere on this spectrum. Do you know what I'm saying? Like with this,
No,
not
elaborate.
not completely. Obviously, they're on the heavier edge of this, but like if Panic at the Disco is so like the list I have, and they're all bands that came out around this time, or at least had releases around the same era. That Fall Out Boy 2005, Panic at the Disco also 2005, All Time Low, Pierce the Veil, Paramore. These are all bands that I think are like maybe they're No Doubt bands where like the lead singer could totally break away and do this. Like if you had this with session musicians,
Yeah.
like the heart of it is the lyrics and the vocals.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Because like again, these guys are not like it's emo is like I went there, like it's like whinier. This is like they're beautiful. They have projection, they have fucking diaphragms, and they're way better singers than they I don't want to say should be, because it is like
Need
it feels,
to be.
Need to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like Cody and Cambria is like a fucking sick metal band, but like him like your eyes sniper. You're like, whoa. It's not whiny. It's vibrato. Like he's
Yeah.
got like fucking. It's like they have range.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I say Protest the Hero fits in that category because he's got everything.
Oh, he's the dude from Protest.
Muse might even. You know what I
The
mean?
dude from Protest has, in my opinion, one of the best metal voices in all of music.
Yeah.
The reason I really like emo in nature is because like all those bands you just described are, if you want to get technical, you could put them all in broadly different genres and shit. But like the bands we always look back at as emo are like you said.
What's the tonight's the night to play the you? What is that? Over again.
Oh yeah, I know the fucking like. I've seen that overused on TikTok. I forget what song that is.
That reference.
Well, because my sexism in high school kept me from listening to some of the worst emo bands.
Yeah.
Because there was so many bands that I was just like, oh, that's for girls. No.
Like I think emo. I think Dashboard Confessional. Emo.
Oh yeah.
That's emo where it's just like it's the thing that is driving it is the emotion.
Oh, and that's what
Do you know what I'm saying?
And that's
Yeah.
another great example to bring up because again, that's another band that you were like, yeah, I wouldn't put that in the exact same category as Paramore or Fall Out Boy. But the through line all these bands have is like emo's more of like a philosophy than it is a specific
it's a
genre.
state of mind, man.
Because you could make an argument. We talked about Metallica last week, like. I mean, literally he has lyrics going like darkness, all I see, darkness imprisoning me, all I see, absolute horror. Like, I don't know. It's a little more aggressive than a Fall Out Boy song, but that's pretty fucking emo.
But it's definitely dramatic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just this like, I'm really fucking sad right now and your hair's everywhere and fucking sad. Like, it's not that. Like, where it's like, I just need to strip down where it's just me and a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're not intimidated by other elements taking the subject matter importance away. Like the way that what's the dude Patty Stumps,
Patty
Strump,
whatever it is. Yeah.
Strumple when he's up there fucking belting out some
Little
tunes.
Strump
Strumper. He's up there strumping it up he is a guy that looks like it's an approachable dude. Yeah, he looks like a regular ass dude that has this amazing range and this amazing voice and can perform well. Like it stands out live.
Yeah.
So it's like not a thing where like this is not and the subject matter, the music, everything in all of those bands that I mentioned all have the same kind of like edge, but on a different spectrum. where you might have like Panic at the Disco that's electronic and dancier, dance, but it's still the same fucking thing. I mean, like, it's the same genre. It's undeniable that it's all the same thing.
It's the same. No,
the only questionable one I would say would be like maybe I said maybe Muse would be in the same thing. Maybe Protest Hero. Those are the ones where like those might be more fringe. You know, they kind of maybe are in their own.
Protest writes too many songs about like some made up. Like a lot of their songs.
Well, Coheed and Cambria goes crazy too.
Well, that's why. Well, Coheed. Because I was gonna make the joke where like Protest is like a prog rock, like a prog metal band where they'll write songs about like, and then I took the sword and I put it into the.
They're like prog core.
Yeah, so they write like fantasy films in their songs, but
they're more gallopy.
Dude, it was funny. Like Coheed's like low key a metal band at times, but because they started out, they got so popular. Like that song you were singing before, Blue Eyes Sniper, and everyone was like, "Oh, you guys are an emo band," and they kind of like shifted into being like a weird like prog rock band and shit like that. But they
got pigeonholed. I feel like they really did get pigeonholed, and they didn't get the same like Fall Out Boy got freedom to do like. They got to do what, and also I think there's a feature from our little friend from Weezer, but they got to do with like Weezer couldn't.
What Fall Out Boy did is they leaned into their fame. They went with the fame, and they go, okay, we're this big band, we're gonna do arenas. Let's just accept it and write arena rock or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And they just go, what would Fall Out Boy do in an arena? And
light them up, line them up.
And I'll be straight up. A lot of those songs, the shit that they put out on one of their later albums, American Psycho and whatever, they don't hit the same as From Under the Cork Tree does for me.
Yeah.
But I go, this is really good music for a mainstream rock band.
Yeah. Again, the consideration that they put in this album, it's not just like them trying to make it big. Because, again, all of these bands they have the life experience with the musicianship and the professionalism kind of thing of like where it is. But I do feel like a lot of that stems from like if the drum, because I remember hearing about something like the drummer from Fall Out Boy was in like the super group with
The Damn Things.
Wasn't it with Keith, right?
Keith and the dude from Anthrax.
From Every Time I Die. Yeah, like when I was just like, but then I go, that when they say like featuring members of Fall Out Boy, I'm like, oh shit, is it going to be the fucking singer? And I'm like, oh no. It's like, if it's anybody else, I don't get super excited unless like it's the feature from these bands is the lead singer.
Yeah.
And that's where I say like, then you have to say this is where it starts. It starts with the voice, the vocals and shit like that, where it's just like the Panic at the Disco, the bum 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 bum, that song, I chimed in. Like the guy has a beautiful voice. Dude, he's got an incredible voice. All of these bands have these like they're incredible frontmen.
Have you ever seen the video where they go through Brendan Urie's vocal range?
Yeah, he's great.
He's arguably the best pop singer right now.
Yeah. And again, you said pop singer. So, like, that's the thing.
Well, no, that was the other thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
So, Fall Out Boy. Yeah. And this, by the way, when you bring up... Because I've adjusted. Now, I don't know. It feels like I'm fucking... I don't know. Sometimes I want to say, oh, I'm a Fall Out Boy fan. And then I'm like, you just listened to 2 albums.
Yeah.
So, it's like, are you... But those 2 albums mean so much to me that it's like, I love... they could put out 20 shit albums. I'll still love this band. But Fall Out Boy was a band where
you can say you're a fan of early Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, I'm a fan of like early 2000s Fall Out Boy. But it's why I don't. When people go like, I'm fucking 35, and I go, I love Fall Out Boy, and people go like, what? I don't get offended because it's like the progression of them. I go, yeah, I gotta be honest. Like, I don't think the fall off was as bad as Weezer. But, like, yeah, they've been kind of, like, writing fucking movie trailer music for the past couple years.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's okay for people to be like, what? But you know what's funny? I love early Fall Out Boy. I'm happy that they're happy. I'm whatever about their later shit.
Yeah.
I am the exact opposite for Panic at the Disco. Because Panic at the Disco was writing all that shit because of the time period, and that's what made sense. And then as it developed, as it became just Brandon Urie, and he's like, I write a bunch of fucking pop songs.
Yeah.
I was like, because dude, like he's got that one song like, house for a living.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah, dude, his shit rips.
Yeah.
He's dude, he has like on the last 2 albums Panic put out before they like, which Panic at the Disco breaking up is so funny. I go, it's just you, dude.
And doesn't it make sense what I'm saying? Like these,
what do you mean you broke up with yourself?
The No Doubt emo. I don't know how to put it. Like it's something. There's a genre name here that we can get these guys a little bit more narrowed down and get a smaller pool. And I think there'd be more recognition because I think you would like a little bit more Panic at the Discos than you thought. Because especially with the acceptance of current day Brandon Urie.
Literally, dude. Like
also featured on Every Time I Die song.
Yes,
Maps, right?
No, it's the one.
Minor attracted.
It's the one when they
people.
Damn! Every Time I Die, I didn't know you were about that.
Yeah,
life.
weird, bro. Now we're seeing
he's
why
on
rarely broke up.
It's the one. It's the vampire song. It bites.
Oh, It Follows.
It Follows.
Is that It Follows or is that the movie? It Bites.
What?
It Bites would be funny.
It bites. Yeah, you know what? That's a no. Like when because like I remember when I realized. Have you heard "This Is Gospel" by Panic at the Disco? If you love me, let me go.
No,
this is gospel.
I don't know if you're just doing a really, really good job of singing. I haven't heard of that at all.
Did you say I did a really good job of singing?
Yes,
that means a lot.
I knew the other one as soon as you sang it.
Dude, he had the Miss Jackson song. Like,
sorry, Miss Jackson.
When you're sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo, we are Panic at the Disco.
We wrote this song a couple years ago, and this was
so
our
Panic's
idea.
The disco, ain't nobody panic like me. I'm just so panic at the disco.
That is your cover song. Nobody panics like me.
Ain't nobody panics like me. But yeah, dude, when Brandon Urie just was like, I'm gonna be a fucking pop star. Yeah. I'm just gonna write pop music. That's when his shit started ripping to me because, dude, like Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die rips. Death of a Bachelor, Pray for the Wicked. Even his last one that like I didn't get into much, but he had a couple on his last one that went fucking nuts. But this isn't a Panic at the Disco episode.
Not yet.
They just had I very rarely liked a band the more poppy they got.
Yeah. Panic
at the Disco is one of the few bands I liked more the more they tried to be a mainstream band.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, because I was gonna go. There's so many things to make fun of emo music for. I get it. I will say this. I do think there needs to be a national apology on the skinny jeans hatred because the world, whether you like it or not, whether you wear them or not, the world has shown that they like skinny jeans.
Yeah.
And I remember emo people and shit like that got a lot of shit for it. And now it's just like super normal to wear skinny jeans.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of like fashion wise, I think it's silly just in general because if anything is shown over the years, it's the fashion trends just repeat themselves like over and over again. Sometimes it's ironic, sometimes it's not. Even something like Idiocracy he just wanted a cheap shoe that everybody could wear that looked ridiculous and like
That's
it would
my
be crazy.
favorite part, the Croc.
Yeah, and it happens to be Crocs, which are like people. I unironically wear them. Like I realize they're crazy, but it's
aren't they like stupid comfy?
Yeah, they're pretty comfy actually.
Yeah.
And I will say I worked there like $40 usually. This is a free ad for Crocs. But, I mean, if you want to sponsor us, if they even sponsor, do they even advertise at this point?
Well,
but they're just everywhere. Like
I think the way they make them too, it's actually like super cheap and quick to make a bunch of Crocs.
So like he had that for the set of Idiocracy, and eventually they just actually got to be very popular, and now they're just a popular shoe. So like, I think there's certain things like that in general, like that will get I forgot the point I was going to make with that, but essentially they have the.
I was saying
I just got excited about Crocs.
There needs to be a national apology about skinny jeans.
Oh, skinny jeans in general, fashion senses, like in general, like it's a thing where it's. Yeah, but what were you wearing as a kid? Like, what were you?
Yeah.
How were you talking? What was your vernacular? You know what I mean? Like, there's certain shit where, like, every once in a while I cringe because I remember. I don't even know if this tape still exists, but I remember there was a tape of me opening presents, and it was Christmas one year, and it was Beast Wars. So, admittedly, I was correct in stating this, but I remember opening the present and just going, "Oh my god, tight!"
What?
I said tight.
Oh.
Like, unironically.
Was it over Beast Wars, though?
It was Beast Wars.
In your
defense, I think it was Optimus Prime, or it might have been. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, in your defense, though,
yeah,
Beast
it was
Wars,
fucking tight as hell.
When we were young, you weren't wrong.
I got almost all the Beast Wars I had on my list, and that was tight as fuck.
Because when we were young, Beast Wars was like the big Transformers show, and it was. Dude, it's one of those you watch back and you're like, oh my god, this is horrendous
This
looking.
was terrible.
And at the time, you're like,
animation,
this is so fucking cool looking.
How are they doing this?
Yeah, dude. Oh, you got the Optimus Prime gorilla.
Yeah,
I had that one too.
I think I had Megatron too. I'm pretty sure I had like the two biggies.
Also, Optimus Prime gorilla was such a cheap because literally he'd be like, transform. And it's my face.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do this, and also I got some pretty cool muscles here.
I'm just gonna flip them to human arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was standing up before. God. Yeah.
I miss Transformers.
But that was.
I remember my aunt got my someone got my brother a Transformer, and then later he was like, I have this one already. So you know who got a Transformer? Andy got a Transformer.
Oh my god, that's fucking amazing. I remember one time I was in the store with my dad. This is the weirdest story that I can't really exactly explain, and I don't know.
Oh my god,
I don't know what happened.
We were to find out you got molested.
I was sucking this guy. No, I was in the grocery store with my dad in Publix, and we were like we're walking up the aisle, and this kid had it was a Ninja Turtle. Speaking of, this is why it reminded me of it.
Yeah.
It was a Ninja Turtle. It was Michelangelo, not my favorite. But
which one was he? Red?
He was the orange one. Raph was the red guy. He was my favorite.
Which one did you always go with?
Raph.
I went blue. He had the swords, right?
He had the size.
Yeah, I got to be honest.
I like the little forks because I'm going, pop, practical.
You're like...
Also, I'm going to kill you.
You're like, can we go have another fight at Chick-fil-A?
We're going up the aisle, and this kid in this other cart has this like transforming Michelangelo toy, and I was like, and I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan. I was like, oh my god, this is incredible, blah blah blah, and I was just like amazed by how like amazing it was, and the dad was just like, you can have it, and I was just like kind of look at the kid, and I think the kid was just like playing with another toy anyway, because I think he recognized his kid was probably spoiled as fuck and probably saw how, this is my assumption, probably saw how
like, you'll appreciate this more than my shitty fucking kid.
Yeah, literally, because I was like, I lost my mind, and that was my favorite fucking toy. I wish I knew what happened to that toy, but it was...
Wait, he gave you the toy?
The dad was just like, you can have it, because he saw how fucking incredible like I thought it was. And again, the kid wasn't crying or... Like,
that dude hates his kid.
Absolutely,
dude,
for sure.
To give a...
It's the strangest thing in the world, dude, right? Isn't that crazy?
To let us, I mean, it's
he was just like, "Go ahead, you can have it."
I mean, it doesn't.
We didn't steal it, like we didn't rush off.
Like, I'm gonna buy this kid 9 more.
We're in the toy aisle, by the way.
They were probably like super rich.
Either that, or that we were in the toy aisle. I also wonder if like maybe his kid just opened it. And he was like, you can have it. And it was already open.
Oh, and then you take it, and the guy's like, they're right there, officer.
Yeah. But it was the coolest toy because it was the coolest fucking part of it was...
Come on, Stanley. We're going to get demonetized.
It was like a regular ass action figure. Lots of points of movement, right? Right? But get this. The shell fucking opens up, and it turns back into a just regular ass turtle. So it transformed, like you could like essentially pretend like, oh my god, I spilled the ooze on it. Oh my god, it's turning into Michelangelo. And you're like, what the fuck?
That rip.
Yeah, it was like a transforming Ninja Turtle.
I remember those.
And it was by far, even though it was Michelangelo, was my favorite fucking toy for the longest time because he fought everybody.
Yeah.
including the Beast Wars. And you want to tell me that wasn't a tight-ass battle? It was a tight battle.
Can I ask you a question about Publix?
Please.
How would you describe the quality of that store?
A plus. It is a top tier. It is. Think about.
Would you call it bougie though?
No.
Exactly.
It used to be. No. It used to be. By the way, so this is a perspective talk, guys. We're gonna go back into perspective word. Stanley, god damn it, you're embarrassing me.
Stanley's giving us a prick perspective of his
show.
birth.
At least just show us.
Dude, it's so funny. He's just
Stop being such a voyeur.
Dude, he's about to bite your hand off.
But there's a fuck. God damn it, Stanley.
Publix.
Publix is my growing up, and even still, like my mom will be like, if we tell her that we were like, oh yeah, we do our grocery shopping at Publix, she's like, oh okay, I didn't know you were doing that well. And it's like, it is, if not the exact same price, they have products that are the same. It's just the fact that they have a store brand, and store brand, much like Kirkland at Costco, is like a thing where like you can get the Kirkland brand
Do they
shit.
have a sweatsuit?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, you gotta get a Publix sweatsuit to match your.
I would
Kirkland.
love a Publix. Oh no, yeah. They at this point they have to have merch because they are so popular.
No,
but they
wait.
have their store brand, which is like they are considered bougie because it is. They were usually in the nicer parts of town, but again now they're.
But isn't it like on par with like an HEB?
It's like it is. Yes, it's. I would say
Okay,
it is close to HEB, but like the nice one over here.
This is
it's
why
like that kind of version. It's a really
fair
nice
enough,
one.
Yeah, it's like an HEB in a nice neighborhood.
You could do all of your shopping there. Like if you needed.
But you can still get like Doritos,
vitamins. You could get soda. You can get your prescription. You can get like there's
it's
like
one of those
everything
places
there.
you could get fucking Mountain Dew Code Red, but you could also get like organic grass fed bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a
Sushi,
Wegmans.
fresh sushi. Yeah.
But so here's my thing. I'm walking through a fucking Target. I go, and I walk by
Super Target with a grocery store.
Can I compliment Texas Targets real quick?
Yeah.
You guys body Pennsylvania and Jersey Targets.
Jersey, maybe Pennsylvania is still central Pennsylvania.
Some
Has
good Targets. That's fair enough.
Sorry, with all due respect.
But I'm just saying.
All due respect
it's
to
like,
wrestlers.
Like every Target I'd go to in Jersey, the fucking food section was an afterthought.
Okay, yeah.
The ones here, they're like, no, you can buy them here.
I could shop here.
I could shop and get everything here.
I could let that lettuce go bad in my fridge. I could let those tomatoes go bad on my counter. Yeah. I tell you what.
You know what? I could really see myself buying a lot of SpaghettiOs and vegetables and letting the vegetables go bad.
I could see a lot of this fresh fruit going bad in my house.
You know what? I could really see myself eating a lot of Twizzlers from here.
They got M&M's on sale too, huh?
I really could.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I'm just like looking at a fucking
like a frozen pizza. You're like, holy shit. Okay.
I'm just looking at a fucking salad kit. I'm like, yeah, I could definitely throw this in my trash.
Yeah, I could throw this in my trash in 4 weeks.
So anyway, I'm walking through a Target, buying all these vegetables. I'm very excited about throwing out. And no, there's this group of like 4 young people, 2 dudes, 2 girls. Hopefully they had a sick 4-way. And I walk by and I hear the guy go like, yeah, there's a lot of Publix where I come from, but we didn't really go there because that's kind of like the bougie Whole Foods thing.
Yeah, those are idiots.
And I heard that, and I wanted
That's not Whole Foods at all.
Well, he like compared it to Whole Foods.
They're
and
crazy.
I wanted to turn around and walk up and go, hey, guys, I don't mean to interrupt. You're a fucking retard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you should have.
I
No,
wanted
honestly,
to
but
do that so bad.
You couldn't have picked a worse store
so
to compare
stupid.
it to.
It's
because
not, right?
Like Whole Food is the standard for bougie store. Like if you go to, I went
Dude,
another good idea for what a good idea of what a bougie store would be. Surprisingly, some of the stinkiest stores you've ever been in. Because again, it's all organic, it's all farm to table, and guess what? They don't clean the shit off before they bring it to the table.
You don't realize how much better stuff smells when it's overly processed.
Yeah, you know how.
No, for real though, there are certain things where I go. I had there's certain things I had growing up, and the funny part is like we didn't grow up poor, but I have a lot of like growing up poor food tendencies.
People forgot about the middle class. Not to get on my fucking soapbox, but that's I think we were close to. I was lower middle class, but I think we were both middle class.
I was joked I was like middle.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I was, because like.
You're firmly in the
You've
middle.
been to my house,
You
right?
had a wonderful house. Yeah.
So like the house is a good size, but we also bought it, like my parents bought it in like the fucking 70s when shit was cheap and shit like that.
When they were 27.
What?
When they were 27, probably. Fucking assholes.
But not the 70s, I think the 90s. What
Either
am I
way,
talking
yeah.
about? No, because literally, but regardless, I didn't grow up middle class, but I don't think I would have been upper middle class. I'm like in a middle pocket. But regardless, like I didn't grow up hungry. That's apparent. Like I didn't grow up hungry. I always had clothes for school. But because my parents, they are, and I love them to death, but Lord, they're honkies, and they had a very honked up cooking style. Ooh. And because of that, I developed the palate of someone who...
It's trash.
I didn't have a pot to piss in.
Yeah. You're absolute trash. Yeah, exactly. Where you're like, butter sandwiches. And you're like, no, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I remember explaining, like, brother, have you ever put ketchup on buttered noodles?
This is honestly, as far as like some people that grew up on the wrong, having a tough or whatever, wrong side of the tracks, and whatever you want to put it, would call this bougie. You take a slice of Italian bread or white bread, whatever you can.
Extra bleach.
Yeah, extra bleached. You put one slice of American cheese this way, right? Then you take just a little dot of yellow mustard right in the middle, and you spread it around just for flavor. And then you put the other one diamond style for panache. And then you cut that some bitch triangle wise. One of the best sandwiches I've ever had.
Wait, so your sandwich is 2 slices of meat and 2 slices of cheese and yellow mustard?
Yeah. A little dot of yellow mustard, because my palate, again, wasn't as refined yet. But I would probably put a stone ground mustard in there now and use a little bit nicer cheese.
See, my palate got developed via frozen food.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Dino Bites,
dude, literally, I
pizzas.
remember we went on vacation, and also mix that with an uncontrollable urge to snack. So, like, dude, I remember I got yelled at one time on vacation.
What?
Because, sometimes people are a little more well-to-do. They go on vacation, they buy a fuck ton of groceries. And
oh, you fucking went through the weeks of groceries.
Well, yeah. Dude, in the first day, my parents
You're a grown boy.
In the first day, I ate all of the Hot Pockets.
That's crazy.
I ate every Hot Pocket we bought. Oh yeah, but no, I remember going to Whole Foods and they had fresh squeezed orange juice. And I drank it, and we grew up drinking the fucking...
Sunny D, yeah.
The frozen shit.
Oh, concentrate.
Yeah, we grew up drinking concentrate. And, like, I was like, I'll take the fucking frozen tube over this bullshit every time.
Yeah.
And it's like that with, like, so much stuff. I just developed honestly, the only thing helping me out now is my age, because now if I pig out too hard, I go into a coma. I get so fucking exhausted.
I used to eat, like, those Totino's pizzas, not the like the party ones with like the hamburger and shit on it, like that one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They don't have any crust. I would eat those whole. Actually, there's a video of me on YouTube. It's still on my friend's fucking page. Actually, every once in a while it will come up, like just on my feed of like, hey, you still follow this guy from like early 2000s. Remember when you had that pizza eating competition? We saw how fast we could eat those. Brother, it was like that. It was, if not fast food, that was the thing. We didn't do fast food a lot when I was younger, but we would eat a lot of casserole shit and a lot of like honky ass, mayonnaise ass, fucking tuna casserole. I still, again, thinking about it now, and especially the way the way Dom and I have adapted, I feel like, is like we like those recipes or those things that we had, but we also we'll try to find like the best version or the best recipe of it. So I literally make a what it is in the recipe is, quote, healthier homemade hamburger helper,
which I've had. You made some.
Slaps,
you
right?
let me have a little bit of it the one time when I was here. It's very good.
It's crazy, and it's like it's one of those things where you're like you still kind of get that flavor. But it's also like, because a lot of times those things don't hold up. When I went to the UFC for Kyle had like people over for the 317 recently. Yeah. He was like, I was like, do I need to bring anything? He's like, nope, just blah blah blah. Like he's like, oh, if you could pick up some breadcrumbs because we're making. He made chicken parm sliders, fucking brilliant. Guy made it the bun. You know what the bun
Is
was?
he one of those skinny pricks that's mysteriously good at cooking?
It's incredible. He made that, and it was my idea to take fresh leaves of basil.
Damn it!
Fresh leaves of basil for the lettuce, but
He invited me and I had bullshit.
homemade cutlets, and the bun was garlic knots, cut in half.
How the
It's incredible.
It's insane how skinny he is.
I ate way more than him for sure, and I finished his girlfriend's other slider too. So there was a lot, but
You're just in the kitchen. They walk in like, Pat, no one got any.
you know what I brought? I brought a box of.
Wait, sorry.
Oh no, I brought a box of zebra rolls, zebra cake. They're not.
Dude, he has like the most creative chicken parm I've ever heard. And you're like, I have zebra cakes.
And a box of HEB brand Swiss cake rolls, which I opened on my ride there and ate one of them. So, bro,
Dude, no, I gotta get your back.
I wanted to test it to make sure it was good because,
Brother,
I'm not gonna bring it to.
I've never once won the drive home or drive there game ever.
Yeah.
I've always lost.
Yeah.
I've always eaten at least one of whatever the thing
make
is.
sure it's good for my friends. I knew the zebra rolls were good.
That's like I used to work with this guy who like, dude, he would get fast food.
Yeah.
And then he'd drive it home. And then he'd fucking put it
on a plate.
And
you know?
he'd like put it on a plate.
Asshole.
And then he'd like wash his hands and clean up and find his show. And then he would eat his Burger King. And
Yeah.
I go, how are
Oh, because you had your road burger already. Is that what you're saying? Like you had the extra cheeseburger for the ride?
I go, wait, then how are you going to have a big pile of trash in your passenger seat?
Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
How do you make
I have
that?
actively right now an In-N-Out burger,
I have to clean my
box.
passenger seat because my wife's going to use my car when I leave with Robbie.
and she's going to judge you.
I have to clean my full car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what the fuck other one was I going to say?
About what?
Damn, I didn't realize Kyle's such a fucking chef.
Yeah.
No, because he invited me to the UFC thing, and I was like doing stuff, and I was trying to like work on this thing, and the day got away from me, and I was like, fuck. And then I had a show at like 11, and I was like, it just wasn't balancing out. The day got away from me.
I made pizza rolls last time Nate and him were over, and they wouldn't shut it the fuck up over it. So he's got the range.
Oh.
That's why I brought the Swiss cake rolls, was because I know that even though he's making these wonderful chicken cutlet slider, parm sliders, whatever.
You know when we went to go see Jesus Piece, and Anxious was on the bill?
Yeah.
You were anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always anxious.
Oh, but the other food thing I was gonna say is a big thing too, because like, so you guys sounded like you cooked in a way to stretch your dollar. We ate the way we ate. Like, we ate like poor people who abuse the EBT system.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
like, dude, I remember I got to an age and I realized, I go, dude, my mom, I mean, I'll give her props. She bodied like spaghetti and meatballs. She was always really good at making a good ass meatball or like a meatloaf. If it was meat mushed together, my mom was good at mushing meat.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Sorry, Mom. But
ain't gonna tell me.
but no, dude, like we had like 4 or 5 hits that were on steady rotation.
Yeah.
We would do fish sticks and mac and cheese.
Nice.
My dad would make me steakums often. Mm-hmm. I know
We did steakums a lot, yeah.
Yeah, we did a lot of steakums. I'm trying to remember the other one. Oh, and this was also the honked up influence. The only vegetables my parents ever served me were carrots or green beans from a can, and all they would do was heat them up in a pot and give them to me.
Frozen vegetables, or mostly frozen. Almost never fresh. Frozen, never even canned, really. Not often even
I'll
canned.
say this,
Mainly frozen, and it would be steamed a lot of times. But I would say one of the slappers, one of the fucking bops that my actually now I'm remembering, because like a lot of it is like even nostalgia wise, like you said, the meatloaf or the or whatever it may be. There's not a lot that I'm like super nostalgic for, because like my mom will make it now, and I'll be like, like kind of like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But it is exactly, it's how she was always making it. But one thing that she would make that would fucking still, I can imagine still slapping, would be Italian sausage. Like you take the casing off, fry it a little bit in the pan, and then she would just put it in the crock pot or a pot of just fucking ragu and just boil it. And then we would take that and have those on hot dog buns. And I was just like, I'm just like thinking about that right now. And I'm like, I think I want that for dinner tonight.
Dude, you ever
I think I'm going to have that for dinner tonight. Dom's probably calling me right now to ask me what I want her to pick up. I'm going to say, get Italian sausage and spaghetti sauce and hot dog buns.
No, that sounds really good. Dude, you know what I thought was like a big deal when I was a kid? I'd get it every time it was on the menu. Pizza burger.
Ooh.
Yeah. I thought that was such a fucking big, like, I go, is that what they're doing nowadays? That's how far technology has advanced. We're doing pizza burgers, like, and then the other thing that sort of set up my palate for the rest, like, doing things like getting Pizza Hut would always be like a big deal to us.
That ended up being later on when my mom was working more and stuff like that. Like I think it would be like that was just like a regular night. Not a regular night, not all the time, but like when it was like my brothers were working or moved out, when it was just me, it would be like Friday night was like get a wrestling magazine and go to Blockbuster, get a game, maybe a movie, a couple games, and then because also I'm going to be away for the weekend working. Like, all right, let's get fucking NFL Blitz again.
Let me jerk off. So I think we're pretty good on this ep. I don't know what else. I got to be honest. I was on the defense all week. I didn't know if you were going to like this album, and then your enjoyment of it definitely threw me for a loop. I thought this was going to be a little bit more disagreeing of an episode. I got to be honest. So
I didn't like it.
What?
I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't?
Not necessarily. Like, it's not like it didn't turn me in the sense of like, I think I'm gonna listen to some more Fall Out Boy. It was more of a thing of like I respect it a lot more.
Yeah.
And I do understand what you're talking about, but I also feel like there's a whole genre of music that is like of dudes like an era of time, like kind of like metalcore, where like metalcore like will still come back. And some of the metalcore bands are still kicking.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, like metalcore isn't a thing anymore. Like people don't call it that anymore.
I would disagree with that. But I think
or when they like people do it.
No, I think where metalcore is now, the sort of like Atreyus and shit like that have been that like people don't do that really because that sort of sound is more dated.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like that era, like that was a thing.
Yes, that era of metalcore is kind of done.
This is emo's metalcore.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I will say this:
it's very specific and it's very.
I get that
unique
analogy because this album is sort of very of its time. It's why Fall Out Boy's writing arena rock now. It's like they've moved on to other things.
She hasn't text back.
It's
she's like, that's exactly what I was calling for. And I told her, she's like, just dots right now.
That's so funny.
How do I say no?
So, I will say the album is very of its time. And
yes.
I do have the bias of, I listened to it in high school and it just got to me. What I do, though, my big sort of mission statement of this episode is, like, everyone listening, it's, if you haven't really given it the time of day, take some time. Get into, like, what the guitars are doing, what the drums are doing, because it's the same thing as like how I like Travis Barker and Blink-182, because every pop punk band of their era, the drummer just kind of like, he doesn't have to do a lot. And Travis Barker takes the time to really like elevate it and do a lot of extra shit to like make it a much more bigger, expansive listening experience. And I think that's what Fall Out Boy really should get credit for on this album is, yes, it's indicative of its time, but it's just like they just put so much more into it than the average band of it, where parts of it...
That's what I'm saying. It's like the composition, the thought, the production, but I'm saying the vocals are so powerful. That it's like it's undeniable that this is a very specific, not just simplified emo band. Do you know what I'm saying?
You might like whatever their last album was, because they get way more theatrical with the vocals on that one. But yeah, no, I hear where you're coming from.
You hear me coming from?
I know where you're coming from, and I have technically never heard it, but oh, do I think about it. This rain better go away by the end of our Mormonism talk.
Go away.
Because if not, I am going to sleep.
I'm steeping heel.
I will not.
I will not be doing home.
I will blow up the air mattress again. Ooh, Patrick, I will be here for 3 more months.
You just got to move the TV in the Chewy box.
Nope, I'm keeping the box.
Damn, best idea I've ever heard right before we pick our next album. If you're buying a new TV, this is something I wish I would have seen before when we just bought a new TV after 16 years of marriage. We got another
Your
TV.
TV lasted 16 years.
Brother, it was the most money we've ever spent on a TV, and it was the longest TV anyone's ever owned.
How much did you pay for it?
We rented to own it twice, essentially. Remember, we told you that. And then the new TV plus
can I tell you something,
new TV plus soundbar, bigger TV, newer TV, nicer TV, $300.
Oh, dude, that's the craziest shit about buying.
$323.
If you have it,
thousands of dollars.
no
before
matter,
that.
dude, no matter what time, no matter what year it is,
Yeah.
if it's been more than 5 years that you've bought a TV, you go,
What the fuck?
$300 gets me what?
Yeah. So, yeah, but if you're buying a new TV, keep the old box. When you want to get rid of the old box, just put your old TV in that box, and then put that box out front, and then you're gonna have Porch Pirate come by and just take your. Oh no! You stole my new TV that was being delivered.
Can't call him that anymore.
Oh, sorry.
No, what? My method when you have a TV is I drive to Circle K, and I use their garbage can at the gas pump. That's my favorite. When you're like, have you ever been throwing trash in the gas pump trash can?
Every
and then,
time.
Like, a worker is there, and you're like, you're looking him in the eyes like, I am going to fill this up.
Here's that full fountain drink I never drink. Yeah, I could empty it out first, but
You're like, is there a McDonald's bag limit on your trash cans?
yeah, that is almost. I've stopped at gas stations not only just to pee, but also just to empty my car sometimes.
It's one of my favorite tweets I've ever made, where I was like driving around to Gifford.
A different? Uh-oh. There he
Just
goes.
explode.
Yeah.
No, I was like, what did I say? I was like driving around to different gas stations, throwing out garbage bags like I'm disposing of a body.
Yeah. I've been there.
Because I'm like, dude, I literally had to go to. I felt bad because I was like, I'm putting so much trash in this fucking gas station. Did I tell you?
Tom sent me a thumbs down. A gif of the.
No sausage dogs tonight.
No, but she said, what about Italian sausage with peppers and onions on a bun? And tater tots. Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, you can still do your thing. She just added peppers and onions.
Yeah. But she's not, yeah. Should I have her still get the spaghetti sauce too? She'll still get it.
Did you hit her? You should have hit her with, I guess.
I did. I feel like when I do no punctuation, that's me going, yeah, that's fine.
Wait, so you wanted Italian sausage and shit, and then she was
in
like,
spaghetti sauce.
in
It's got to be cooked in spaghetti sauce, and then you take it out with tongs.
What was her suggestion?
It's Italian sausage with onions and peppers with tater tots. Tater tots were going to be the side either way. I think that's just solid. There's no argument here.
Yeah, I was like, you just...
Guys, I don't want to hit my wife. What do I do?
I don't want to talk bad about your wife on a podcast.
No, I don't want. No, I don't want to do it, Andy. That's what I'm saying. Is what are my options here, though? What else do I do?
Dude, when you read that text to me, I was like, should we jump her?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I'm going to beat you up.
It's actually a crazy response.
Like, again, I'm not going to...
What if we
She sent me a gif of the dude from Gladiator, the bad guy, the guy from Beau is Afraid, and then he went like this.
No, because I was like reading it. I'm like, I wanted to scream into your phone and go, that's barely different.
It's just no spaghetti sauce. Can you just get me spaghetti sauce?
We can still do mine easily.
Why can't we both have our thing?
We can both have our thing. You just want to assert your dominance.
You just want to win. And that's why.
You just want to win.
Don't ask me what's for dinner. By the way, the other day, can I just go on a little? Just a little?
Bitch,
can I just go on a little?
Wife.
Brother.
Bitch about your wife on a podcast.
She's not here yet. But she asked me probably a half an hour before like we would normally eat dinner. She goes, "You want to just do leftovers?" And that just chaps my fucking ass because she goes, "Do you want to have I don't know, we could do we got some pizza left over from last night. But by the way, we had pizza with salad the night before. So do you want me to have less dinner tonight?" No. Oh. So I'm not going to trick my brain into it. I know I had the same amount of pizza with a salad.
Also, you got to be like, sweetheart, that pizza is for tonight.
It's dinner. I want to be sleepy after. I want so much food that I'm tired of eating.
No,
I don't want to have just enough. That's lunch.
The leftover pizza is for you to go like, man, I could eat something. I have pizza. It's not for let's prepare a dinner.
That's not a whole nother meal. That's leftovers from our full meal from last night. And that's not going to do. I need more. Then what do you want to do? Breakfast for dinner? I want to do breakfast at breakfast time. That's something I planned for. I'm up for breakfast for dinner, but I'm gonna plan my day of eating for breakfast for dinner because breakfast for dinner, as lovely as it is never dinner.
Can I defend it a little bit?
It's never dinner because it's meant to not make you sleepy. It's the first meal of the day. I want to be sleepy after dinner.
I don't know, dude. Walk down the cereal aisle. There's a lot of stuff there to get you sleepy.
Yeah, but like that's
dude, whoever did the campaign to be like, you know what should be for breakfast? Bread and icing.
Brownies. Dehydrated brownies. Dehydrate them with milk.
We should make them start their day with cake.
I'm not against it.
No.
Dutch Brothers sells muffin tops, like that episode of Seinfeld.
Can I be honest though? You know what they need to stop doing? Selling the pacifier cup of coffee. It's fucking psychotic.
What?
They sell you the Dutch Brothers. That's the coffee shop that's like way too tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there one time and the lid was literally a fucking sippy cup lid.
I think you got a different cup.
Did they just look at me and like, he needs this?
They give you straws too.
No, dude, the lid was a coffee cup lid and then it had a little fucking nipple poking out.
Oh yeah, they were fucking with you. I think that's not a thing. That might be a different coffee company. Dutch Brothers has a straight up wide mouth.
Really?
Yeah, I spilled a lot.
I'm going to drive to this Dutch Brothers and cause a problem.
Let's go. I got the app. I could use the points.
But, fuck, what was I going to say?
You're talking about
We were bitching about our wives.
About coffee, want to be sleepy, breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner.
I'm a supporter of it. I'm just telling you, it's not going to make me sleepy.
Well, no. I shout out to my cousin. It's so funny. I need to be sleepy after dinner. Here's the thing. The thoughts are racing.
Right. I need something to tranquilize me. If I could have dinner. If I have turkey for dinner every night, I would have turkey for dinner every night.
Steph was giving me shit this morning because she has a thing where it's like if you sleep till 11, you're a fucking dickhead. So she was like giving me attitude, and I was like, "Oh, I'll have you know, I was up till 5 a.m."
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry that I was drinking with my friends until 6 o'clock in the morning.
You're like, I'll have you know, when I woke up earlier yesterday, I was incredibly high.
Thank you.
In the morning.
Thank you.
And I only had one beer last night I took from the green room of a show I wasn't on.
Isn't that the best?
That's why I go to Optimum Noctis to have free Bud Lights.
Supporting my friends
I'm supporting
and my habit.
Friends, and I'm drinking more beers than the comics on the shows. Oh, no. I was going to make a joke. Do you want me to... I can kill your wife and then dress up like the big bad wolf? That's why I said eat, and then that felt very weird.
Yeah, that was very weird, yeah.
Yeah, that's my apologies. But that joke didn't work, so...
You can kill my wife if you want.
Let's...
You want to kill each other's wives?
Wife kill?
Deal. This is parody.
For the Netflix doc. Wait, what are we doing?
What do you mean?
Next week.
Oh shit, Misfits.
What? All right, see you guys. Wait, which one?
You wanted to defend an album. I want to defend an album from 1999. The Misfits album, Famous Monsters.
Is that the one with the new singer?
Michael Graves. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. So
I like it too. And I can't wait to
there'll be no
defending it for an. Well, I think there's going to be plenty to make fun of as well. It is still kind of cheeseball.
Yeah.
But they're this is an era of Misfits growing up that luckily I did have a friend a friend of mine who was introducing his favorite band, the Misfits, like they were his and he was like a huge fan of theirs, and was always like somebody that was kind of like not really defending it, but also just being like, a lot of the Misfits fans don't like this. Kind of like how wrestling fans explain shit to me. Like he was like, let me get you up to date on what's like the history, blah blah blah. How they kind of were like punk rock Kiss for a while, or like the advert or the merchandising and shit kind of went crazy, but ultimately the art is still intact and the classics are the classics. But this one is like a lot of people purists hate it, but it's not bad. And actually, some of this, I think one or two of the songs off of this album are on my active playlist.
Yeah,
that is 24 hours plus long.
I'll defend this album because and I'm very curious to get more into it because I wonder if it's a very similar situation to what happened to Gallows because they got a new lead singer and so much of the audience bailed on him.
Yeah,
and I think that's a similar thing with the Misfits. They didn't bail on him, but it was a whole for the vibe I've always gotten is they go, "Hey, where's the first guy? I know this band with the first guy."
Yeah.
And it's now I will say, what's his fucking name?
Doyle?
The first dude?
Oh,
No.
Danzig?
Danzig, he does have a very distinct crooner voice, but then
It's not good.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like one of these other bands where it's just there's an undeniable, you can never replace him of I don't know, Michael Graves actually kind of has a beautiful voice too.
Yeah, what's the big song from this one?
I think Kong at the Gate. No. What's the one right after Kong out of the Gates? Helena, I think, is a big one off of this one. And Scream.
Wait, did My Chemical Romance just steal that song title?
Which one? Helena?
Helena?
It might not be Helena.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Fucking whoever that guy is.
No,
good.
this one.
That's good Misfits.
If I cut off your arms and I cut off your legs, would you still love me anyway? It's a good song.
Hell yeah.
I think overall it kind of makes it's an updated. You don't have to listen to all the old shitty recordings of Misfit songs. You get to hear what would it be like if they recorded in modern times, and it's got a little bit more of an edge to it. I think I like it, so I'm excited to actually. It's been a while since I've listened to the entire album, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I don't know music wise. Static Age, which that's basically. It's not an actual album. It's a collection of EPs and shit.
Yeah.
But I remember I listened to Static Age, and the Misfits were a band where I go, I love this, and I just have no urge to listen to anything outside of this because I think Misfits, I've always called them spooky Ramones.
Yeah.
Misfits like Ramones, once you've heard about 8 songs... You've heard now they're a little bit more expansive than Ramones because as I'm saying that
I was just gonna say this is a good point to say modern day Ramones probably also I think recorded stuff in 99, 2000 stuff like that, and I think they even still were it just sounded like cleaner Ramones, which by the way doesn't sound good. Do you know what I mean? When it's more polished in a nicer studio, whereas this one they added a little bit more edge to the fucking guitar. They got more.
You know where you got
almost more metal.
You know where you gotta listen to the Ramones?
Thrashy.
Their fucking live albums are a way better listening experience.
Yeah, I don't mind. Except for it is just crazy. It's it's almost too fast.
Yeah. But also too it is funny listening to Blitzkrieg Bop where it's and
Yeah.
you're like, speed it the fuck
Yeah,
up.
we know you play it faster.
I will say, compliment, not to go into Ramones talk, because we have a whole other pod to do, but the one thing that was always impressive with the Ramones is you'd watch them, and Dee Dee would just go, "What that day,
Yeah.
There would be
It would never be that time, by the way.
not even that. It would go, "What that day, decent pause,
Yep.
and then all of them at the same time come in on a different tempo.
Different tempo.
It was like, this is actually fucking impressive.
Yeah, and it would be the thing that bothered me is like when you were skipping a song on a live album for the Ramones, and it would just be what that. I hated that. I hated doing that because
That's
like be
so
like, no, it's
funny.
not this. Wait, I have to hear the first. I have to hear the first two guitar line or verses or whatever before I actually know what song this is.
I could do a whole episode shitting on the Ramones.
Yeah.
Because, dude, they were...
Maybe we'll do a roast of the Ramones after the Misfits.
That would be fun, because they were like, they're like, all right, we got this cool song called Sheena is a Punk Rocker. And then they're like, oh, I also wrote Judy as a punk rocker. And they were like, well, do you want to make them both sound exactly the same?
Yeah.
And
Hey,
they're
guys, what rhymes with sniff and glue? Something to do.
Whoa!
Hey,
Because it is.
hey, Johnny. Hey, I'm trying to beat on this brat. What do you think I should use?
I don't know. A crowbar?
That don't rhyme, idiot.
All right, so we're gonna do the roast moans after this.
After that, the roast moans.
Yeah, take this fucking Misfits, but also roast moans.
Actually, I'm kind of excited for that now, to just fucking shit on the Ramones for an hour.
Yeah, we got our next 2 episodes all picked out, so I hope.
have a Ramones book. I'm gonna say I'm gonna read that and then not.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to part of maybe a podcast about them.
Actually, that one podcast I love, No Dogs in Space, they got a good like 6-parter on the Ramones. The guitarist is a Republican.
Oh yeah, well, Michael Graves is also. I think he's like conservative or something like. So that was another big thing that people didn't like about him. I think. Yeah.
Like,
So-
wait a minute. Does this
They're
guy...
like, wait, he supports Bush going into Iraq? That's
gonna-
bullshit. And you're like, who fucking cares, idiots? The Misfits have never been political, except for the fucking Ride Johnny Ride.
telling me the Halloween?
The spooky
Wait,
guy?
Are you telling me that
The guy that loves 50s culture? He's conservative? What the fuck? What the fuck?
You telling me spooky doo-wop?
The spooky greaser dude.
You telling me he likes conservative shit?
No.
Get the hell out of here, spooky ghost.
Nightmare on Grease Island or whatever. This fucking douchebag will
Nightmare on Separate but Equal Street.
He
You
did.
telling me he likes Bombing Brown?
The band based out of New York doesn't love the terrorist activity?
You
What?
you telling me the New York and Jersey punk rock band revitalizing the 50s sound is into old school conservative politics?
Oh my god. That's so funny. Whoa.
You telling me the Italians from New York don't take too kindly to non-white people?
Let's think about how beautiful Marilyn Monroe is.
What the hell?
Oh my god.
Since when?
Oh, that's so funny.
All right,
That's such a good way to end the podcast. I don't think we've ended a podcast funnier. That is
It's a
absolutely
great day, dude.
Yeah, we did.
I love any excuse to do a dumb Italian accent.
We're so proud of us.